Hello, and welcome to Sustainable Outlook, a podcast from global law firm K&L Gates, where we discuss the transactions, technologies, and trends in the sustainable economy. We hope you enjoy this discussion. Please reach out with suggested topics or guests, or questions about how we can work together to create a sustainable economy.
Welcome to this episode of Sustainable Outlook. I'm Elizabeth Crouse, partner and co-lead of the Global Power Practice at K&L Gates. I'm joined today by Johanna Bartee, who has many roles, including Director of JST Capital, which is a CFDI that supports the Jamestown S'Klallam Tribe, and a member of the board of the Port Angeles Regional Chamber of Commerce. Prior to assuming these roles in the community where she was raised, she had a long career in investment and commercial banking in New York and Los Angeles. Thanks so much for joining us today, Johanna.
Thank you very much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, really excited. For those who aren't intimately familiar with the state of Washington, it may help to know that S'Klallam County accounts for a large, long slice of land in the northwestern corner of the state. It's a beautiful place that includes a significant portion of the Olympic National Park, the lands of several tribes, miles and miles of gorgeous coastline, and the cities of Sequim and Port Angeles. It also contains significant productive agricultural land and is just across the water from Victoria, Canada. And for those of you who are Twilight fans, the city of Forks is also in S'Klallam County. Johanna, you're from Port Angeles originally, but you spent years in New York and Los Angeles. Why is S'Klallam County important to you? And what were your goals for coming home to lead the CDFI?
Well, S'Klallam County is home to me. It always has been. I feel very fortunate to have grown up here. And it's my opinion that S'Klallam County is one of the most beautiful and naturally wild places on the planet. It's such a unique landscape. As you may know, the Strait of Juan de Fuca, or the part of the Salish Sea, borders to the north, the Pacific Ocean to the west. And then we have the Olympic National Park sprawling across most of the southern border of the county. A lot of people are familiar with the Olympic Mountains, which are absolutely breathtaking, and then coupled with crystal clear glacial lakes and old growth forests, the only natural rainforest in North America. It truly is a really special place that has always been home to me. I was eager to eventually move home. It was just that although the natural beauty attracts many tourists, the area has always struggled to develop economically. Mm-hmm. So as a child growing up here, I felt very isolated and confined, and that the area lacked opportunities, excitement, and energy. And quite frankly, I couldn't wait to expand my horizons and leave. But then as I got older, I started to really appreciate the area, not only for how quiet and serene it is, but I realized how much I wanted to raise my own children in this place, where they will grow up appreciating nature and having a real connection to it. Well, working in New York and California, in banking, I started working with what's known as a CDE, a community development entity. And I learned about what a CDFI was, which is a community development financial institution, and really how they can help rural areas, struggling communities like this one. And at the time, I made a suggestion to the Jamestown S'Klallam Tribe to apply for a grant that I was familiar with in order to get one of these CDFIs started. And lo and behold, they took my advice. They were awarded the grant, and then they asked if I would run it for them. Just so happened that at this time, I was entertaining the idea of moving home, and I felt that the presented opportunity was one I should take and give back to the community that has given me so much. Do my best to help the community develop economically.
Yeah, the stars really aligned there.
Yeah, exactly. The mission of the tribe CDFI is to foster and facilitate sustainable economic developments and business ventures in tribal and adjoining rural communities. And it's our economic development goals that we're hoping will improve the rural communities on the Olympic Peninsula. We directly provide tools and capital support that I feel are required for real and sustainable job creation. Small business development just being one of them, but commercial real estate development, affordable housing, all things that the community really needs. So we're hoping that the CDFI is able to fulfill this mission by providing the microloans that we do, and as well as development services that are focused on financial literacy training to Native American communities.
Those are all really important goals and really important community resources, I'm sure. One of the things I've noticed about the Jamestown S'Klallam and S'Klallam County, generally speaking, is that both governments act very independently and put a lot of emphasis on self-reliance. Obviously, the tribe saw the opportunity with the CDFI, went out, did it, pulled you in, got the program stood up. All of those things take a lot of independence and drive. How do those values manifest in the development work that you're involved in?
Well, the Jamestown S'Klallam Tribe CDFI does aim to strengthen tribal sovereignty, and this is primarily by asserting the nation's role in providing financial and development services, not only to its citizens, but the greater community as well. Economic sovereignty requires commercial diversification and strategic capital plans. And we feel that these aggressive business plans that favor economic development and job creation are tried and true methods of generating income and creating a thriving private sector, as well as bolstering tribal taxation. But we aim to provide opportunities for our communities to develop financial assets and create wealth for assisting in the establishment of strong permanent institutions and programs contributing to economic independence and strengthening sovereignty. The word S'Klallam literally means the strong people. And we feel like financial strength comes from being able to provide for ourselves rather than solely depending on outside programs. It's through my work with the tribe and our CDFI that I was asked to join the Port Angeles Regional Chamber of Commerce, and it's their mission to provide services and cultivate an environment where businesses in our region can thrive and connect as a community. They always say, that we envision the Port Angeles regional business community as extraordinary as the natural environment in which we live and work. And it's through this wonderful group of people that I got involved in another group of local organizations that aim to establish and grow, a healthy and strong network of local investors that put community-minded investors together with enthusiastic entrepreneurs. This is a relatively new program that we have named COIN, which stands for S'Klallam Opportunity Investment Network. And this network brings key members of the community together to allow investors to connect with entrepreneurs, learn about the challenges and opportunities that local businesses face, and inspire everyone to work together to support their local businesses in a variety of creative ways. Some of these are as simple as, patroning these local businesses and mentoring them. By joining as a member of COIN, either as an investor or as an entrepreneur, all members are kept informed of opportunities, some of which are to attend entrepreneur presentations and gain access to information and resources about investing locally, and for entrepreneurs, opportunities like building a solid business plan, local funding options, and all sorts of services and information. So it's a really good group of people that help each other.
It sounds like it. It sounds also like there's a certain amount of education element here, right? You mentioned, sort of learning how to navigate the challenges and opportunities that businesses face. Talk a little bit about why it's so important for community members to invest in each other in this way. What is the goal here?
The primary goal is really to keep funds local. Keeping funds local facilitates greater economic self-sufficiency, as well as job growth, economic development. It's this dollar multiplier effect, whereby a dollar kept within the community can be spent many times over for a far greater benefit than a dollar invested away from our community. And this COIN program fosters the general vitality and strength of the local business economy in S'Klallam County by not only providing information and services to local investors and entrepreneurs, but it's really important to support each other locally by word of mouth marketing and advertising Things like that go a long way in a small community like this.
But there's one aspect of this program that you're talking about that's kind of unique, right? It's microfinance, right? But it's microfinance from community members, not banks and not traditional financing sources. Obviously, if a local bank were to make some of these loans, the money would still stay in the community, right?
True.
So, but you're not using that method, right? Why are traditional sources of funding not responsive to this need?
There is a lot of challenges with traditional sources of financing. There's just so many barriers. There's things like minimum requirements of 2 years positive cash flow that banks often require, or they have loans that start at $50,000, a handful of things. And in a small community like ours, it can be really hard to start a business and get it off the ground. In fact, people usually depend on friends and family money for an initial investment. And oftentimes they only need $5,000 to $20,000. And that's just not something that a bank wants to be bothered with. A bank is often not going to provide mentoring services or recommend grants or technical assistance, doing things like, helping write a business plan or build financial projections. Those are things that they will expect you to come prepared with. One thing I should clarify is that the CDFI especially, but COIN as well, we consider ourselves more of a financial intermediary, a bridge that helps people get to the point of qualifying for a bank loan and traditional sources of financing rather than a replacement.
Mm-hmm. That makes a lot of sense. It sounds like, reflecting on your comment about how financing in the community often comes from friends and family, it sounds sort of like you're trying to help people make new friends. But taking that approach, right? I mean, this is definitely a program that's focused on fostering community, right? It's got to be a little challenging. What are some of the challenges that you're seeing for operating a program like this? And I know this is still early days. How do you anticipate tackling some of those challenges?
There are quite a few challenges, actually. One of which, from on the investor side, is that prospective investors sometimes construe COIN as something that provides, providing legal, tax, or financial advice, which is not the case. In making an investment or a financing decision, investors or financiers, they must rely on their own examination of the issuer, the maker, the terms of the offering, or, other transaction documentation, including the merits and the risks involved. And that scares a lot of people. And then on the other side, entrepreneurs are also afraid sometimes to share their ideas, either for fear of somebody stealing their idea, or oftentimes because they fear ridicule, or to admit that they don't know how to build a business plan or to apply for financing. So we really tackle all these challenges by coaching both investors and individuals about the pros and cons, ultimately helping them consider what is best for them. I have different investors come to me and ask, what are some of the things to consider when investing in a business? What, is it their marketing plan? Is it the competition? I give them just the best advice I can. And somebody asked me that recently. I said, it's not the industry or the budget or anything like that. It's the management, and really going with your gut and somebody that has strong conviction in their idea, and somebody that's going to stay committed to what it is that they're aspiring to do, and somebody that, truly is invested in their own business. That's just my experience. I don't know that I'm an expert at it, but oftentimes a lot of the challenges can really be tackled by just a little bit of hand-holding on both sides. Both sides can be a little hesitant to get involved or to share and to just sort of be there with an entrepreneur and assure them that, this is a proper business plan, or this is a proper budget, this is the way to present it, or, to almost let an investor know, you should go with your gut. You need to be sure you understand what the pros and cons are, because we are not providing legal advice or managing these loans. This is not an investment fund. This is purely a network.
Right. Well, it sounds like, maybe as time goes by, there might be an opportunity for some of these folks who are participating to start mentoring each other, perhaps.
Absolutely. That is the goal.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And that would make the communities that much stronger, right? I mean, having that network of people, I've done this before, it's not that scary sort of thing, to sort of reinforce how the community is going to feed itself, how the community is going to grow together. So who do you want to participate in this program? Who's your ideal entrepreneur? Who's your ideal investor?
Well, I don't know if there is necessarily an ideal cookie cutter investor or entrepreneur. The S'Klallam Opportunity Investment Network, COIN, it's really a loosely organized group of people on the North Olympic Peninsula whose shared goal is to pair local investors who want to support their community together with local entrepreneurs who are in need of resources in order to achieve their business plans and aspirations. As I mentioned before, COIN is not a loan or an investment fund. It is a network. And our membership consists of local citizens who support local businesses and invest their money locally. There's no fees related to membership in COIN, but membership is required to gain access to key information and to participate in the variety of presentations, networking sessions. Any financial relationship that may or may not develop between members of COIN is done on their own behalf. It's not part of COIN, nor do these resulting relationships include or involve COIN. So in general terms, it is people who care about fostering business growth and economic development in S'Klallam County.
That's great. Johanna, thanks so much for talking with us about the work you've been doing. It's so important to try to build community in this way and build economic development. I think this program that you're just talking about, as well as your work with CFDI, is so valuable. Thank you for doing it. And thank you for sharing some of your story with us. To shift the focus just a little bit, as sort of a parting shot here, what do you think is going to be the most important topic in community economic development a few years from now?
Most important topic. I think at least here in S'Klallam County, and this is probably not the case in other areas, especially more metropolitan areas, but certainly in some of the rural communities, and S'Klallam County in particular, people here care a lot about the natural environment. That's generally what attracts them to come here. Mm-hmm. They want to keep it small. They want to keep it beautiful. Mm-hmm. And people are really afraid of economic development that's going to change the area. Sometimes when you say things like commercial real estate development, people fear that we're building skyscrapers. I think one of the most important things is to keep the economic development sustainable. Mm-hmm. Something that, if we're going to bring in new businesses, they're going to be businesses that support the natural environment rather than exploit it. Mm-hmm. And they're going to be jobs that support local people rather than requiring importing services and products. So thinking about sustainability that way, being able to sustain the rural lifestyle that we all love and appreciate, while at the same time being able to bolster economic development in positive ways for the people that live here.
I think a lot of communities are trying to accomplish that right now. It's a difficult balance, but a very laudable goal. Thank you, Johanna, and thank you to those of you who are listening to this episode of Sustainable Outlook. We hope you will join us again as we explore the intersection of environmental, social, and economic sustainability.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Sustainable Outlook. To listen to past episodes and receive notices for new episodes, subscribe by searching Hub Talks, that's HUB Talks, in your favorite podcast app. We hope you will tune in next time to learn more about the outlook of the burgeoning sustainable economy.